It's 10 o'clock, and we're here every Sunday morning at 10. Let me get the hour straight. Lincoln Ware with you right here on It's 38 every Sunday morning from 10 until 11. And as usual, we've got a great show lined up for you today. And the first half of the show, we're going to talk to some people from Home, Housing Opportunities Made Equal. If you've been discriminated against in housing, you may want to call in. Maybe you've been helped by Home. If so, we want to hear from you also. Second half of the show, we're going to talk about the big health expo coming up this Saturday at the Duke Energy Center. It's going to be the mega health expo of all time, and we'll talk about that on the second half of the show. So stick around. We got a lot to cover this morning. Right now, in the studio with me, we've got none other than Bill Hanks and my good friend Harold Jones, and they're both from Home, Housing Opportunities Made Equal. Bill Hanks is on the foreclosure end of Home, and Harold Jones is on the board of Home, Housing Opportunities Made Equal. And we got him in here this week just to talk about the big 40th anniversary of Home. They've been around since 1968, celebrating their big 40th anniversary this year. And I tell you what, Home is, I don't know how this area could have made it without Home when it comes to housing discrimination, because everybody, people you wouldn't imagine, have been discriminated against when it comes to housing in good old Cincinnati. Even go back as far as Frank Robinson, you know, the Hall of Famer Frank Robinson discriminated against. Ed Rigaud, I mean, big P&G exec, now owns a piece of the Reds and the whole bit. He was discriminated against. So, I mean, Home has helped so many different people, and it's just good to have them around. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us, Lincoln.
Now, let's start with the anniversary of Home, first of all. You're on the board, and the big 40th anniversary, and you're releasing some type of book on that?
Right. It's actually, Lincoln, and to kind of piggyback on what you said, Home actually began in the late 1950s. Cincinnati recognized that it was such a segregated and divided community that there was an organization created in the late 50s called the Cincinnati Committee for Equal Opportunity in Housing. Shortly after the death of Dr. Martin Luther King in 1968, it had been an ongoing battle with reference to equality in housing. The '64 Civil Rights Act never addressed housing. The Voters' Rights Act never addressed housing. And there was an ongoing battle in Congress with regards to the separate but equal that existed in housing. In 1968, after the death of Martin Luther King, and I mean April 4th, 1968, Massachusetts Senators Kennedy and retired Senator Edward Brooke, they began the battle of crossing party lines to implement a Fair Housing Act. And it was their mission that both lines of Congress would be crossed and fair housing would become a reality. Their mission was that before Martin Luther King was buried, that there would be a Fair Housing Act on the books, and they were successful with that. April 10th, 1968, the Fair Housing Act became a reality. President Lyndon Johnson signed it into law the next day. So we now have what is called the Fair Housing Act. It was also in 1968 that the Cincinnati Committee for Equal Opportunity in Housing became incorporated and known as Housing Opportunities Made Equal.
And that was in 68?
That was in 1968,
okay, so that's
correct.
The 40th anniversary.
So we're celebrating the 40th anniversary. We've had a year-long series of events that have occurred and will continue to occur. We kicked off in January of this year at Christ Cathedral downtown. We had a press conference and we introduced kind of our itinerary for the year. But April, the month of April, is Fair Housing Month. And this year we will be having our 40th anniversary annual meeting, and tickets are available. We've got, this year we're presenting our Founders Award. That award is going to be awarded to the Cincinnati Association. In 2007, they commissioned a study that was headed by Mr. Brandon Weirs, and that study addressed the 14 integrated, most stabilized communities that have existed for 20 years or so in Cincinnati. And as part of the mission for Home, One of our mission goals is that we want to create stabilized, integrated neighborhoods.
All right, we need to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll find out how foreclosing and home are related. We'll talk to Bill Hanks about that. Plus, want to hear some horror stories that's in this book, this 40th anniversary book, about people that's been discriminated against. Back in a moment. We are back live. Lincoln Ware Live is the program. We've got Housing Opportunities Made Equal in the studio. Bill Hanks, you work on the foreclosing end of a home. How does Housing Opportunities Made Equal and discrimination and all that tie into foreclosing?
Well, in January of last year, coming out of the mortgage lending business industry for 25 years, I saw things developing there that were very unnerving as a lender. I had underwritten government loans in the past, and as a prime lender, usually with a bank, savings bank, a recognized mortgage lending company, we did our very best, I think, over the years to provide financing for families that, with the intent that they qualified and it was a home and a mortgage they could keep. Unfortunately, when I started in January of 2007, most of us will probably recall the media was doing a very good job of bringing our country and most of the world aware of the growing housing crisis. With people like you and others in the media that have made families aware that the subprime loans, letting families know the danger signs, the things to look for, what to do. My responsibility has been early on was outreach. I was in Price Hill the majority of last year with the help of a United Way grant. I even did door-to-door working with Santa Maria and a number of the other agencies. And I saw firsthand the devastation, the terrible after effects of a foreclosure to a neighborhood, witnessing families with their terrible stories of homes they lived in for years. What we were able to do, and early on it was difficult, when families would be referred to us as part of our outreach program, I would give the advice initially to, if you're a payment or two behind, please get in touch with your servicing company. Be sure that you're talking to them, because they have to be aware that you care and that you've explained your situation. Many times it was temporary. A temporary job layoff, it could well have been a medical issue, but the prospects of returning to some normalcy in their life, it was a prospect. But when they fell behind a payment or two, what was happening, when they would call these servicing companies, they would get the collection department. And those people were trained to do one thing, and that was to let the people know that if they didn't send in a couple of $1,000s that they were past due on, that they would foreclose. Well, fortunately, that has changed. There's been great improvement in that area. Over the last 6 months or so, I think with pressure from Washington, with a lot of the groups, the media's attention again to this, that these lenders, the servicing companies now with directives from their investors, are now becoming easier to work with.
Right. And discrimination played a big part in all of this. They were actually seeking out African Americans for these types of loans, these predatory lenders. Certainly. And so now, if a person, what could home do for a person if they've got this problem now and they call Housing Opportunities Made Equal? What type of help could you give them? What type of advice would you give them?
I'll tell you what I do day in and day out. When these families approach me with a problem, obviously we have to analyze the problem. If it's a couple of payments behind, if in fact it's a predatory loan, if it's certainly one of the subprime loans that have created such terrible devastation out there. What I do, I get authorization from these families to talk to their servicing companies. We talk to a department called loss mitigation and get through to people that are trained to work with us, analyzing the budgets for these families, looking at their circumstances, trying to get these loans modified, many of them, the adjustables, with a 5-year freeze on any upward movement on those.
Or maybe even put them into a fixed rate.
Some of them are lucky enough, some of the lenders, not all, will in fact modify these loans
Yep.
and rewrite them to a lower rate, which is so important, and put them on a fixed payback. We're happy just to hear that they've stopped upward movement for at least 5 years, because we feel, and I think most in the industry that do what we do, there will be continued improvement. These major investors have written off over $235 billion worth of bad loans today. So it's quite obvious to everybody out there, the lending community, Wall Street, Federal Reserve, we can't continue to let this worsen, but it is and has.
All right, now, get the housing opportunities made equal, discrimination is out there, and I'm sure you've heard horror stories, even in this release that you've got coming out celebrating the 40th anniversary. So many horror stories, and I'm sure it's people who are watching now have got some housing discrimination issues. And if you want to call in and vent a little bit, we'll take your calls, 513-381-3838. We probably can't settle your problem, but maybe we can give you, point you in the right direction to help solve that problem, give you load you up with some information to take to your landlord if you need it, because there are some horrors. So even with Frank Robinson going back, he wanted to buy a house, and what happened? He was in Kennedy Heights or Silverton when he tried to buy a house. What did they tell Hall of Famer Frank Robinson when he went to try to buy a house?
Well, keeping in mind, Lincoln, that during that era, Cincinnati was still a very segregated community. And part of the mayor's task force on housing was to address that issue. And the one error that we do at home, sometimes you have to have punishment in order to seek retribution and to change things. And home often finds itself more in an educative process than anything else. So our mission is to eliminate discrimination, as Malcolm would say, by any means necessary. And we do find ourselves working with realtors, working with the lending institutions in attempting to overcome that error.
So Frank Robinson saw this house. He says, I want to buy this house. They said, well, we can't sell you this house, but we can build you one just like it in a black neighborhood. So, I mean, come on now. And so what happened? Did he come to you?
Well,
Did he come down?
was not the actual entity at that
They weren't
point,
even a corporation then, but
exactly, they did address that problem just as we continue to address the problem 40 years later.
And it's amazing that some of those problems still exist today.
That is
2008.
true. You know, it's at our annual meeting, we discussed the issue of some of our cases, and near that same time, there was a story that appeared in the national press that occurred right in Cincinnati. An individual that was a veteran, Iraq veteran, and could not seek housing in an apartment in the Clifton area. Wow. So, you know, 2,000 years later, or 40 years later, in 2008, the issue still continues. We often look at discrimination as being race-based, but there are so many other areas. Under the Americans with Disabilities Act, landlords have an obligation to the handicapped. And one of the areas that we see a prominent increase in is in the discrimination of people with children. Wow. Landlords saying we don't want to rent to anyone with children.
Is that illegal for them
That
to say?
is illegal.
Okay, so I have a building, say I have a 4-family apartment building, and I know how kids can be destructive and tear things up and ruin the grass and everything. And I don't want to come in every couple of months painting the walls because they've got. So I'm going to say, hey, I'm not going to rent to children. So I can't do that.
You cannot do that.
If I do that, what should the person do if they encounter a landlord that says, we don't rent to children?
Well, I mean, a landlord still has the right to have reasonable rules within their property. Yeah. So if a family is destructive to your property, you have a right to hold them accountable for that.
But if you don't want them in there from the beginning, if someone tells you that, what do? Call home?
If someone is told that I will not rent to you for children, or if there is a subtle sign that I can't get this apartment because I have children, you need to call 721-HOME.
All right, let's go to the telephones. You can call us right now at 513-381-3838 or 513-651-3838. That's 381-3838, 651-3838. And let's go to Veronica. Veronica, good morning. You're on Lincoln Ware Live. How are you?
Good morning, Lincoln. I have a problem. My husband and I, we've been living in this apartment complex for like 8 years, and so they fired the manager or something, and we paid our rent, and he said something about the machine that he would bring us. He would bring us the receipt. So, but they fired him. So he said he stole like a couple $1,000s from it on rent day, and now they're giving us an eviction notice to move. And that's just not right. I can't afford to pay the rent twice.
So you paid this guy. He never did give you a receipt. And now they didn't get the money from the guy. They fired him because I guess he stole money. Now they want you to pay again.
Yes.
What could she do in that case? Hang up and listen to the answer. Thanks for your call.
If, in fact, she paid them by cash, I don't know what she can do. But if there was a check or a money order or something like that involved, then I would think she would have that as her proof.
Sounds like she probably paid them in cash.
Exactly. I don't know what can be done in that instance, but certainly she can contact our office and we can have someone, look into that.
To me, if they fired that guy for theft, that would be, a reason to say, hey, we paid him, and you fired him for stealing money. He stole my money.
Right, exactly.
Let's take a break, and we'll come right back. 513-381-3838. Want to hear your discriminating cases out there. If you've had a problem trying to rent an apartment or a home, give us a call right here on Lincoln Ware Live. Back in a moment. We are back live. Lincoln Ware Live is the program. Bill Hanks, and I've got Harold Jones from Housing Opportunities Made Equal, and we're taking your calls. We've got a few more minutes left. I want to try to get you in here. Go ahead, David.
Yeah, about that lady's question, what she can do is go to the institute where she got the loan or what have you, through that guy, and get his information and then take him to court.
Well, yeah, it wasn't a loan. It was the rent payment that she made. I guess this guy went around collecting rent payments and took the money.
Oh, okay. Then.
He worked for the rental office.
Okay, well, she can still get his information from there.
That's true. All right.
Take him to court.
Hey, thanks for your call.
Yep.
All right. Now, we're going to put up the number for home in case you've had some discrimination problems. The home 721-4663 or 721-HOME. Very easy to remember. And Bill, we were talking about Cleveland. Cleveland is a prime area where they really discriminated against color and low income.
Exactly.
Up in Cleveland.
That was highly publicized. In fact, the local officials there went after legally these lenders. Now, the servicing companies, they didn't originate the loan. A lot of these were the unregulated brokers. But without a doubt, they targeted minorities. They targeted the lower income, socioeconomic areas there that were on the low end, and many of the elderly. And a lot of that was done with telemarketing, funds drawn out, high closing cost charge. I saw it throughout Price Hill when I worked that area heavily last year. There was a lot of discrimination over there, providing 100% financing to families of color, of elderly types that did not understand what they had. So yes, without a doubt, there was a lot of discrimination, and hopefully that's been put to an end.
Now, home, you guys have testers you send out, and they'll go try to rent an apartment or a house, and do you send gay couples out there too, or how does that work? Because I know that's been a big ip on gay couples being discriminated against. Do you send them out also to test?
Well, we can't tell our trade secrets, but but we do randomly test, and sometimes you do find that there's problems that exist.
Mixed couples, black and white couples. So you just mix it up and send them out there.
Absolutely.
And when they feel like this guy may be discriminating, what happens from that point on? When they go back and they get the phone call from the landlord said, no, that apartment's taken, or you didn't check out right, or something like that. What happens from that point?
Well, they'll usually send out testers back to back to see what is actually happening. And then at that point, usually there's contact made with the company. And Home's mission, again, is to eliminate discrimination. So we have to actually go back and try and work out a resolution to the problem and try and come up with a recommendation on how this company plans to address the issue from here on out.
And even with the insurance companies, Home can help out. Because you guys had a big settlement with, was it Nationwide?
Nationwide Insurance.
Nationwide Insurance, big multi-million-dollar lawsuit against them for discriminating. What were they discriminating against?
Well, it was, as it'll talk about in our history book, redlining in the insurance industry. And essentially what that was that insurance companies would take a comparable house, and for instance would be the two-story Tudor in Avondale versus the two-story Tudor in Hyde Park. They would insure those homes in Avondale at market value and insure the homes in Hyde Park at replacement value. So if that person sustained a loss, they would not have adequate dollars to put them back in the same condition they were in prior to the loss.
But if you lived in Hyde Park, they would replace it.
Exactly.
Unbelievable.
Exactly.
Unbelievable. Well, Housing Opportunities Made Equal Home has been a vital part of this community, and hopefully you get 40 more years out of that organization.
We hope so, and we want to just say to Cincinnati that celebrating our 40th anniversary on April 25th at the Underground Railroad Freedom Center, we have a super celebration that will feature Team Lachey. They're going to be our guest vocalists that evening. We'll also be awarding to Mr. Chuck Judd, who was one of the founders of Home, the Theodore M. Berry Award. This is our first year giving that award out, and we'll have Judge Berry, who is the son of former Mayor Theodore Berry, who is going to be there to present the award to Chuck Judd, who was also, they referred to themselves as blood brothers, and they both worked in the struggle for equality in housing. So.
All right, thank you both for joining me this morning.
Thanks for having us, Lincoln.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back and talk about the big Health Expo coming up Saturday. I'll tell you, entertainment, speakers, they've got it all for you this Saturday, and we'll tell you more about that in just a few minutes, so stick around. We'll be back in a moment. And we are back live. Lincoln Ware Live, of course, is the program. We're here every Sunday morning from 10 until 11. As I mentioned at the beginning of the show, coming up this Saturday, the Health Expo. It's the Center for Closing the Health Gaps Health Expo, and this is probably the mother of all health expos. I've never heard of any health expo that's had so many things going on in one day, and I tell you what, we've got them here. We're going to talk about all the things that's going on. Cheri Miller, Renee Harris. Renee, we'll start with you. Tell us about the big Health Expo Saturday at Duke Energy.
Well, this is our 5th annual Health Expo, and we have planned a day of activities for the entire family. We'll be offering over 19 health screenings that Cheri will be talking about in a few minutes, and workshops anywhere from HIV/AIDS to mental health to diabetes to family obesity. We will have a variety of activities and keynote speakers, beginning the day with a faith breakfast featuring Bishop Vashti McKenzie. Our second keynote speaker is Susan Taylor, former editor-in-chief of Essence Magazine. And then we'll have Richard Roundtree. Shaft. And he is a breast cancer survivor, so he will be delivering a message that will be very powerful for the men and other people in this community. We'll end the day with the first annual Cincinnati Stomp Fest, featuring 10 teams from across the country, both middle school and high school teams competing. And
the entertainment part of the music part, you've got Ronnie Laws, Angela Winbush, and Michael Henderson. I mean, these are guys, everybody knows these people. And the admission to get into the health fair is only, what, $7 in advance, $7 at the door, $5 in advance.
Exactly, and tickets can be purchased at the Center for Closing the Health Gap and a variety of locations throughout the community.
Do you have a list of those locations we can get to before the end of the show?
Yes.
Okay, we'll get to the locations. So if you want to get your tickets in advance, we'll tell you where you can purchase those. Now, some of the screenings that will take place, one will be cholesterol, and Cheri, Christ Hospital, correct? Mm-hmm. You will be doing the cholesterol screening.
Right, we're going to be doing the cholesterol screenings from 10 until noon. These would ideally be fasting cholesterol, so we can give people a good idea of what their cholesterol results are. Results are within 5 minutes of the test, so they'll get the results on site. We'll also be doing blood sugar testing, and that will run from 10 to 5 o'clock, as well as the rest of the screenings that other providers will be having as well.
Okay. And these are two very important screenings, cholesterol and blood sugar. And I mean, when you said pre-fasting, so if a person's going to get their cholesterol checked that Saturday morning by you, you don't want them to eat anything before they come to see you.
Exactly.
Okay.
Eat or drink anything that has caffeine in it. They could have a little bit of water beforehand.
Okay.
For a good 10 to 12 hours if they can do that.
Okay. And this is all free, all free. All they have to do is show up. And the event kicks off at 8 o'clock Saturday morning. What's going to happen at 8 o'clock?
8 o'clock will be the Faith Breakfast, again, featuring Bishop Vashti McKenzie, and an invitation is required to attend
How do
the
you
Faith
get an
Breakfast.
invitation?
Well, we have very few tickets remaining for the Faith Breakfast, but if interested and if there is still space, you can contact us at 585-9878.
Okay.
And at this point, though, I don't know how many tickets are remaining, but
if any.
if any, exactly. In addition to the keynote speakers and the national artists, we actually have some additional programming happening that day. We have a gospel choir celebration at 10 a.m., and we also have a hair show and fashion show that will occur after Susan Taylor speaks. Okay. And then we'll also have a line dance showcase featuring 10 line dance teams from across the city.
Oh, my goodness.
That's going to be a really powerful display.
Willie C's playing the
yes,
music for that?
he is. This is his
line
piece that he's
dancing,
organized.
Everybody can line dance. And every song that's played, somebody can make up a line dance to do off of it.
Exactly.
So that'll be a big deal.
Exactly. And we're also honored this year to have honorary chairs. Our honorary chairs this year are Bob Castellini, who's the CEO of the Reds organization, and Dusty Baker, the new general manager.
All right.
So this has been a phenomenal event led by the center in partnership with many organizations, and our presenting sponsor this year was Radio 1 and their 3 stations, so we're very excited on that partnership and the many sponsors who make this event possible and the hundreds of volunteers.
And it's good to see Christ Hospital. Is this your first year with Center for Closing the Health Gap with its Health Expo? Is this your first year?
You're going to have to help me there. Yeah, I think it's our second. First major partner.
This is the first year for Christ Hospital as an independent organization, but the Health Alliance has been a supporter, and the Health Alliance is really the major funder that started the center, and since then we've we now have sponsors including TriHealth, Mercy Health Partners, Cincinnati Children's Hospital, and the City of Cincinnati.
All right. Now, when you mentioned Center for Closing the Health Gap, the name speaks for itself. I mean, there's a disparity in health care in the community. And explain a little bit about what the Center for Closing the Health Gap does.
Well, our mission is to lead the elimination of health disparities throughout Greater Cincinnati in 3 target populations: the African American community, the Hispanic Latino community, as well as the Appalachian populations of Greater Cincinnati. And we do that through advocacy, awareness, collaboration, and research. We have the Do Right campaign, which is a campaign focused on the development of physical activity and nutrition programming for our neighborhoods and by our neighborhood residents. And we teach them how to conduct research, how to take that research then and formulate solutions. And just like that program, the Health Expo is a day of activity and awareness and information, and really giving people in the community the tools to be a part of addressing their health solutions. Our theme this year and our message from the center is, it's your health, your future.
Now, the screenings will be given throughout the day. You mentioned the cholesterol and the blood sugar different times. Can you give people some of the times of the other screenings so they make sure they'll get there? Will they just continue all day long?
Well, actually, the screenings are from 10 to 5, and Cheri can share the additional screenings that will be taking place for both adults and children.
And by the way, before she starts that, if you have questions, give us a call at 513-381-3838. If you got questions about the entertainment, what time they'll start, give us a call. We'll answer those questions. If you got questions on where you can purchase tickets in advance, give us a call right now, 513-381-3838 or 513-651-3838. Cheri.
The additional screenings that will be going on are body fat or body mass index, both for adults and children. We'll be doing dental screenings, HIV and AIDS screening, mental health, depression screenings, pulse oximetry, looking at oxygen levels for individuals looking for screening for lung disease, or asthma type of things. Sickle cell awareness smoking cessation, all of these things. We'll have screening areas as well as information booths set up.
And normally at these health expos, people will walk away with a lot of goodies, as usual. A lot of, you know, they'll have a bag full of goodies, I'm sure.
Yeah.
In addition to that, the screenings that you shared, we also will have prostate screenings on site. Again, these are all free and open to the entire community, both adults and children. And speaking of children, we actually have a children's pavilion with children's activities focused on children from ages 2 to 12 years old. And those activities will be focused on nutrition and physical activity.
And children under 12 get in free.
That's right, with an adult.
All right, children under 12 with an adult will get in free.
Exactly.
So, parents, remember that. So bring the kids along with you.
Right, and I wanted to share one other piece. If you said there's a lot of activity, we will also, we have the main stage where the keynote speakers, the national artists, the Stomp Fest, the hair show, fashion show, line dancing will all take place. But we also have a moving and grooving stage where people will have an opportunity to learn how to salsa, praise dancing, fitness demonstrations, double dutch. So there are activities for all. You can come out, get your screenings, get some very valuable health information through our workshops that will take place from 1 to 2 p.m. And have some fun.
And you had, what, 4,000 people show up last year.
That's
and
right.
It wasn't even half as big as it's going to be this year.
True.
I mean, it went over 2 days last year, but this year's event, you can probably expect double what you had last year in just one day.
Well, we are ready for the attendance. Again, we have hundreds of volunteers that make this event possible. Hundreds of volunteers conducting health screenings, assisting and guiding people through the facility, greeting our community, and really taking ownership. So it's not just the center's event, this is the community's event to address the issue of health in our population.
All right, give the phone number for the, we'll give that back, give that number out when we come back from break. We'll take a quick break. We'll give the number for Center for Closing the Health Gap. And we'll take your calls at 513-381-3838, 651-3838. Give us a call. Back in a moment. Back live, Lincoln Ware Live is the program talking about the big health expo that's going to take place this coming Saturday, April 19th at the Duke Energy Center. And it's going to be a day full of activities. And tickets are $7 at the door, $5 in advance. And where can the people purchase tickets?
Tickets can be purchased at Impression Salon, located in Forest Park, Black Satin Hair Salon in Mount Healthy, Plaza on the Pike, Now and Then Boutique, located in Woodlawn, Hudson Brothers Cleaners, located in Findlay Market area, and the Dukester Supper Club, located in Roselawn. In addition, New Vision United Methodist Church is another location that tickets can be purchased. And throughout the week, we have ticket sales at lunchtime at a number of the hospitals, including Good Sam, Bethesda Oak, Christ Hospital, the YMCA, Drake Hospital.
Okay.
But please call the center at 585-9878 if you need additional information on where you can purchase a ticket. And you can purchase tickets from 8:30 to 5 at the Center for Closing the Health Gap, located at 3120 Burnett Avenue.
All right, boy, a lot of locations, so there's no excuse for a person to say, well, I don't want to pay $7 at the door. I can't find them in advance. You got tickets all over the place, and the price, I mean, for what you'll get
right.
for the entire day, you just can't beat the price. I mean, for $5, where can you go see Ronnie Laws, Michael Henderson, and Angela Wimbush for $5? It just doesn't exist. And get your cholesterol and your blood sugar tested, prostate checked, and everything else. I mean, it's unbelievable.
As well as additional keynote speakers with Susan Taylor.
Susan Taylor, Essence Magazine.
Richard Roundtree, and a Stomp Fest.
All right. It sounds good to me. All right, let's go to the telephones. Before we go to you, Bernadette, please, Bernadette, sound bites. Let's keep it short, and let's not give a whole speech on health, okay?
Lincoln, I'm not going to say a word. Good morning, everybody. I actually just wanted to know what day is the fashion show on and who is actually sponsoring the fashion show.
Okay, everything is on one day, Saturday, April 19th. As far as the fashion show, I'll let Renee answer that.
Okay.
Car Productions are the models, and they are coordinating the fashion show, and the fashions will be from Now and Then Boutique in Woodlawn.
What time do that start, actually?
Yes, the fashion show is at 1 p.m.
Okay. All right, thank you. Have a good day.
All right, Bernadette, we'll see you Saturday.
Okay, bye-bye.
That's probably the best call I've ever received from Bernadette. She just asked questions. She didn't give us the whole speech. Regina, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Brother Lincoln and your guest. Will the YWCA be selling tickets as well? I heard her mention the YMCA.
They are not a location for us.
Okay. Okay, I have another question. Now, I know about the different free screenings, but one of the biggest killers for African Americans or Africans, period, in this country is colorectal cancer. Why is there free screening for everything but help in helping someone get the colonoscopy test?
Well, that's not a test that you could probably give at a fair, I don't think.
But I mean, not at a fair. I'm just
Hold on a second.
Not at the fair per se, but ways to get help funding.
Okay.
Because that test is like $2,000.
Hold on.
Actually, colon cancer is one of the things that we'll be screening for, not necessarily a full colonoscopy, but kind of a questionnaire that will help you identify whether you need a colonoscopy. And also, all of the screenings will help plug you into services that are available around the city to get you the follow-up help you might need based on the results of the screening.
Okay, how about that?
Okay, what about the financial help? Because I had to cancel a test because I even called the Cancer Society, and they were saying, you know, as far as they knew, there was not really any financial help for those that is the working poor, like so many of us are. And that is a very important test that need to be done. But if you can't afford to have the test done or afford to be able to rack up bills when you're trying to pay mortgage.
Okay, we get your point. We get your point, Regina.
Do you really? Okay, we're going to see if that help is there.
Okay.
Well, ma'am, what I wanted to share is that in addition to the health screenings, because we understand the magnitude of the issue of health in our community, we not only are conducting the screenings, we are going to have people available on site to assist you in identifying places where you can get the assistance that you need, either from identification of a primary care physician to places that you can get more cost-effective follow-up screenings, medical home, identifying and connecting you with a medical home. We have a program called Access Health 100, which they will be on site with computers. They will take your address and they will then try to link you with facilities that can help meet your needs.
All right, hopefully, Regina, see, they've got help for you out there. Let's go to Ruthie. Ruthie, good morning.
Good morning, Lincoln. I hadn't talked to you in a while.
Could you turn Ruthie's volume down a little bit in there?
Okay.
They're going to turn your volume down a little, Ruthie.
What's the sign of the diabetic? It runs in my family. I just want to know what the side effect is. You know, like...
the signs and symptoms of diabetes?
Yes, hon.
You know, one of the things, and this is an important thing for you to come and have the blood sugar screening, because we do know people with high blood sugars, even if it's not totally above 126, it may be a pre-diabetic stage, and so it'll kind of help you identify whether you're on that path to getting diabetes. But being overweight, having a lot of excess thirstiness, having to urinate frequently, these are kind of common signs and symptoms of diabetes.
Okay, I have that. And what about the high cholesterol?
High cholesterol is not something that you can necessarily tell unless you have the blood test done. There aren't really any external signs and symptoms for it, although it does lead to coronary artery disease or heart disease. So that would be the kind of the signs and symptoms of heart disease that you would look for.
Ruthie, come down and get checked on Saturday.
All righty, I just need the number, sweetie.
You need the number?
Yes, hon.
585-9878.
9878.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, honey. Thank you.
Thanks for your call. Walter, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. You're talking about the health care and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm really dissatisfied in this health care system we have in this country. I did have a brother, though, that fought in this Gulf War, the first one.
Yes.
Yeah, his name was Randy. He died.
Okay.
Well, my point is this. He had a terrible time getting on Medicare and Medicaid because he got to he couldn't work, you know. And it's like in this country, you're not going to get nothing for free. And what John F. Kennedy said, don't ask what you can do for your country because your country ain't going to do nothing for you.
Okay, and all of that, do you have a question?
I want to know when people are going to wise up and like, really vote for somebody that's going to get some free health care. Then when you get it, you're not going to get nothing for free anyway.
Okay, well, hang up and listen to Renee's answer she has for you, Walter. Thanks for your call.
Well, I just wanted to add that in addition to the screenings, we are also going to have on-site Medicare registration.
Okay, Medicare, Medicaid.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, again, not only are we offering a variety of activities for the entire family, we have valuable information that really allows our community to have the information they need to take charge of their health.
Well, I tell you what, it sounds like it's going to be a day full of entertainment and activities and screenings, and this is just, like I said, the mother of all health expos this coming Saturday at down at Duke Energy.
Well, we do offer the largest regional consumer health expo in this region.
Yes,
so we are excited and look forward to the entire community coming out on April 19th from 10 to 7 p.m.
All right, at the convention center, and it's going to be a great event. And like you said, tickets are $7 at the door, but if you can get them in advance, you'll save a couple of dollars. So go to any of the locations. We'll run by those locations again before we leave. Let's go to the telephones. Let's talk to Linda. Linda, go ahead.
Good morning, everybody. I'd like to find out if y'all gonna have anything about arthritis.
Okay, any arthritis screenings or?
We will be doing a bone density test, which will kind of let you know whether you have osteoarthritis or osteoporosis. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of people there who will be on the educational booth side that will address the arthritis issue for you as well.
Okay, thank you. I have another question.
Yes.
What time the entertainment gonna start?
What time does the entertainment start? Ronnie Laws, Angela Winbush?
The entertainment is components at 3 p.m.
3 o'clock.
All right, thank you. Have a nice day. See you Saturday.
All right, thanks for your call. And like you said, you can get all this done, and then you've got time to sit back, relax, and enjoy the great jazz music of Ronnie Laws, and then you hear Angela Winbush. And didn't she have some breast cancer or something?
She had ovarian cancer.
Okay, Angela Winbush. And then you got Michael Henderson, the guy that sings Valentine Love. And I tell you, it's just a great a list of entertainers that'll be there. So, and they'll be there in time for you to see them. Yeah, and that starts at 3 o'clock, you say?
Yes,
on the main stage.
The national artists will be performing at 3 p.m.
Okay.
And again, everything begins at 10 a.m. The doors open for the expo at 10 a.m. with the gospel celebration, followed by an opening program with awards to our major funding partners, again, which are Cincinnati Children's Hospital, Mercy Health Partners, the Health Alliance, City of Cincinnati, and Tri-Health.
All right, well, it sounds great. And Cheri, thanks to your organization for providing the screenings for people there, and it's going to be a great event.
We're Christ House is very proud to be part of this organization and part of this expo, because I think the Center Gap does such a nice job of connecting the health services in the city with the people who need them, and that's what this day is all about.
All right, well, we appreciate you joining me this morning. We're going to take a break, and then we'll come back and wrap things up right here on Lincoln Ware Live. And once again, the Big Health Expo this coming Saturday at Duke Energy Center, the Convention Center downtown. Make sure you get your tickets. Tickets are $7 at the door, $5 in advance. We'll see you on Saturday. Back in a moment. That's one heck of a program there. Lincoln Ware back. Lincoln Ware Live is the program. Coming up at noon today, right here on It's 38, NASCAR Angels salute to our military. You like that salute? You have to get the kick in there to make it effective. Salute to our military at noon today, the NASCAR Angels. 8 o'clock, you'll see a rebroadcast of this show right here, 8 o'clock on WOTH. Channel 25, that's at 8 o'clock tonight. Then, if you want to see the entire episode of this when you're at work or when you don't have anything else to do, you can just log on to WBQC.com and you can see some of the past episodes of Lincoln Ware Live. Don't forget to check me out Monday through Friday from 10 to 2 on 1230 The Buzz. This week, a lot of things to talk about. Going to talk about the case of, remember the guy who his girlfriend was pregnant? She didn't get he wanted her to get an abortion. She said no. So he says, I'll give you an abortion. So he beat her to death. He beat beat her, stomped her, kicked her. The baby died. He's on trial for murder now, and that trial should be wrapping up around Monday or Tuesday. And we're going to talk to his lawyer sometime during the week. And he may get off on that case. I don't know, a lot of conflicting statements going on. She eventually lied to him. It wasn't even his baby, and she's his cousin. So I tell you, they could have appeared on the Jerry Springer show or something like that. But anyway, we're going to cover that. Plus, why does Barack Obama, everything he says, they just take it and run with it? McCain and Clinton, he can't open his mouth without them criticizing some of the things that he says. Why is it so one-sided when it comes to Barack Obama? We'll talk about that during the week and a host of other things. I also want to talk about the Cincinnati Metropolitan Housing denying, they wouldn't give this lady a permit to pass a transfer to move to another house. Her boyfriend was beating her up at the house she was staying in. She was afraid to go back to the house. She wanted Metropolitan Housing to give her a voucher to move to another place. But I'm saying that's not going to solve the problem. He'll just follow you there. They denied her. She sued. They're in federal court. So we'll find out what's going to happen with that this upcoming week. So a lot of things going on, and we can talk about it all on 1230, The Buzz of Cincinnati, right there, Monday through Friday from 10 to 2. You check me out for that one. That's pretty much going to wrap it up today. Next week, we'll be back again at 10 o'clock, and we'll have some great guests lined up for you. If you want to talk to me, you can call me on my telephone and leave me a message. The phone number, 513-679-6028. That's 513-679-6028. Give me a telephone call, leave a message, and tell me what's on your mind. And sometimes I'll get back to you. If I don't think it's worth it, I probably won't. So anyway, just giving you another way to get in touch with me right here on Lincoln Ware Live. So that's going to wrap it up until next Sunday morning right here. Spread the word. Tell a friend. Lincoln Ware Live on the TV Sunday mornings at 10 o'clock. And we'll see you next week right here on It's 38.